How we doing, guys? Figured it's about time I hopped on to do solo pod catch up for 2025, seeing as we're finally through the 800th day of January. Long month, but we made it. We got through, and hopefully into one of the shortest months. So, with that said, I figured we got quite a lot that's going on at the gym to update everyone on, which is a good way to start the year. Obviously, very exciting. So, first thing that I am super excited about, as you can tell, we've introduced wrestling to the gym. We've got a wrestling coach in, Kate Hawthorne. So for anyone that doesn't know, Kate and the Hawthorns in general, all very, very high level wrestlers. More titles between them than you can count. You know, I mean, Kate's got more titles herself than you can probably count. So they're coming from basically like wrestling royalty in the UK. Very, very good coach. Happy having her on board. Unfortunately, throughout a lot of the month of January, she has been mad busy with work, so I've been hopping in to cover her class. But I believe she's back coming week, which I'm looking forward to because I get to jump in the class as a student, which is always fun. Love wrestling. On the note of wrestling, right? So I have one pair of wrestling boots. Considering hadn't wrestled that often, it was a fair amount of wrestling boots to have. And I saw extra wrestling boots that I wanted. As is the case, I kind of tried to reason with myself, well, I do one wrestling class a week. I don't need two pairs of wrestling boots. Unless I put on two extra wrestling classes in the week, which I did. So now I have two pairs of wrestling boots. So that was my way of justifying it. And yeah, it balanced on the scales. Yo, Lena. I just seen, so first question of the podcast, Lena just shot across. Theme of the month. So for anyone that trains with us, we follow combat base general, or Roberto, specifically Roberto, my coach, the themes that he sets for us in the month. And the theme of this month is guard passing, which I'm all for. Heavy pressure, just pure hippo. So for anyone that wants to tighten up their guard passing, come down and do a class with us this month. You're going to get a real deep dive into how to twist folk up and make them miserable, which I enjoyed doing yesterday, and I'm going to enjoy doing again today. So yeah, the wrestling class is on. Absolutely loving those. And equally exciting, I have finally been made the cut-off in terms of dates. I'll tell you the story about this in a bit. To be a Spartan ambassador, which Spartan race, I've been doing these for absolutely years. Love it. Good challenge, really enjoy kind of pushing myself out there. And every year they do a drive to get ambassadors in. You have to apply for it, right? And they have a cut-off point. The problem is they don't advertise when they started accepting ambassadors and when the cut-off point is for when they take no further ambassadors. And literally for the last 4 years, I've missed the date, just being, I don't know, ADHD, not thought about it until after they've closed the applications. This year, I had an inside source that told me. So, another random story for those of you that followed. At the end of last year, I did 3 Spartan races in one weekend. One of the harder things I've done. It was very good. So a 20k, a 10k, and a 5k. I was driving down from Leeds to outer London to do them. The 2 days before I left, in one of the Spartan groups that I'm in on Facebook, there was a request from someone, is anyone driving from Leeds down to London to do the races? And I said, well, I fit the bill. So I was like, yeah, I'm doing that. So it's from a woman called Dashi who messaged me. She's like, okay, I've moved from Leeds to London and I've left something there that I need you to pick up and bring down for me. I was like, fuck it, why not? Might as well. Figured I'd make a bit of money as a drug mule. Turns out it wasn't drugs. It was like a big horse head, not a live horse, obviously. Although I suppose it wouldn't be a live horse. It was just the head anyway. Not a flesh and blood horse. It was like, I don't know, wood, something like that. It was pretty sturdy. So I had to ferry this horse head down to her. And obviously she turned out to be an employee of Spartan. So when the Spartan head very sneakily opened applications. He just messaged me and was like, yo, you said you wanted to be on board, now's your chance. So I appreciate the heads up, and it worked. So I'm a Spartan ambassador, which also means that probably a whole bunch of you that will watch this, I've probably already tried to tap you up to come join me for races, and you're not getting off the hook, because we're going to do lots of them this year, and I need company, so you're coming with me. After getting Spartan race going, my own training is back on track. So I got pretty sick before Christmas, made everyone sick at the gym, sorry folks. But I think everyone had it, it was one of those going around. And when it got me pretty good. So I had about 2 weeks where I couldn't do anything. And coming back after that, cardio was tanked. And it's the worst thing when your cardio's tanked. There's no easy way to get it back. You just gotta grind. So been hitting that pretty hard, and I feel good. I feel fit and strong at the minute. So I'm enjoying that. We've also got, so this leads to another question, but I'll sort that in a bit. We've got some custom gear coming from Adapt that we made for the Academy. I am super hyped about that. Just because obviously Adapt's a brand that I support. They make really good stuff, and looks cool. And I kind of like promoting the community in the gym anyway. Most importantly, funnily enough, someone's actually just shared this video. Someone just shared the video that I'm actually going to comment on in a bit. I'll mention that very briefly. And I've lost my train of thought. Balls. However, I've just spotted, what 3 exercises can I do to make me a hippo on the mat? Right. So when it comes to jits, right, the main things to think are, what are the demands? And a lot of the demands in jits are pull, and a lot of specifically upper body pull. So if you want like 3 things that are going to be fucking good for increasing just your general pulling strength and sticking and like pull survivability, I suppose, best way to put it, you can get away with, say, a deadlift, because lower does help in terms of like locking your guard and things like that. Also, it's just a good move for overall strength. A pendlay row is a pretty good one because you get to pull explosively, and a good old bicep curl. That way, when you get hold of someone, pull them in, they're not going anywhere. It made me laugh because everyone obviously thinks of bicep curls as a meathead exercise, but they actually got a place in jits. So get them guns, they'll come in handy. So the video that popped up, right? So it's by a guy, I think his name was Chris Jones. The question I had come in was thoughts on this video. So for those of you that haven't seen it, right, the video is him sat there saying, do mandatory club gis make you a cult? And he just goes off on this rant like, no, of course they don't, you fucking moron, it's to make profit and all this. Chris, I don't think anyone's debating that it's to make profit, right? Obviously, a business needs to make profit. But firstly, mandatory. I've got an issue with a grown man telling me what I should wear, just as a dude in general. I think I'm just not a bitch. So, mandatory uniform that you mark up by like 200%. Yeah, cult. Right? And I'm not saying it's not good business. Obviously, it's fucking good business. But those two things are not mutually exclusive, right? You can be a very good business and a fucking scumbag cult leader at the same time. And I think the fact that he was trying to defend it, basically it just kind of shows the degree that which he is willing to exploit his students to make a quick buck. Now, obviously, he updated his thing to say, oh, just so you know, the gear at my gym is not mandatory. Okay, well then why make a video about mandatory gear? You know what I mean? It's not applicable. If you're talking about mandatory, so enforced, if you come and train with me, you have to wear this. Yeah, no, you're a cult, or you're just trying to deepen your pockets. But again, those two things are not mutually exclusive, and in my opinion, you shouldn't get the right to tell someone what to wear, because it's just a fucking power play, innit? But yeah. So Chris just seemed like a bit of a bellend. I think he came across wrong on that video. I don't know the guy at all. Maybe he is a bellend. He certainly came across as one on that video, which has just been sent to me again. So it means I'm gonna have to watch it again and just like wind myself up watching it. So I had a couple of other questions come in, right? And obviously some that I can't repeat because you guys are all deviants. But the ones I can repeat, right? Firstly was, what are the most important habits and mindsets for someone starting out as a white belt? This is an interesting one, right? Because everyone will tell you like, oh, leave your ego at the door, and this, which is not, it's not bad advice, but the thing to think, right? You need some degree of ego to do the sport anyway, right? Because you want to progress, you want to beat people, you want to improve yourself. Like, some of that is ego driven. So I wouldn't say leave your ego at the door. What I would say for white belts is, firstly, expect to be humbled. That's going to happen almost immediately. You know, we all go through it. And if you're in a good gym, they're not going to hurt you, but they'll definitely humble you. And the main thing is, accept the fact that isn't forever. You know, at first you're not even going to be the nail, right? You're going to be the piece of wood that nail is getting hammered into. Eventually you're going to move up to become the nail, and then enough time goes past, you're going to become the hammer. But you're going to have to be willing to go through a lot of discomfort to get there. But then nothing worth having comes easy, right? So the idea is mindset. Accept the fact that you're not going to win like many rounds to begin with. The one piece of technical advice I would give white belts is relax. Like, there's so many white belts that I get that just grab me and pull you in, and they're just stiff and rigid. Firstly, you're not going to achieve much doing that other than getting yourself tired. But secondly, when you're all stiff and rigid, you're making yourself more prone to injury, right? And not only that, so say you don't get injured, you're just going to get tired, and then you're going to get beaten up anyway. So relax. In a lot of grappling, you want to be quite pliable and relaxed, save energy. Like, if you roll with me, you'll see what I mean. I tend to move pretty slow, very heavy. It's only when I've got someone that is like very good that I have to push and up the pace, right? But wherever I can, I'll try and slow it down and relax. I'm never stiff and I'm never tense, right? So white belts, relax, dial it back a little bit. Try not to use strength. Obviously, strength comes in handy, but when you're a white belt with no technique, it's wasted energy, right? And as Dan Strauss said in our seminar, like, a blunt knife can cut something if you put enough force into it, but it's not efficient. So you want to sharpen the blade first before you try and, apply the force behind it. Ooh, something just popped up. What was that for striking? Made you buy his shorts first time you turned up too, and if you want anything else, he had a go at you. Yeah, so I don't want to out the old gym there, but the old gym were cunts, basically. Like, at the end of the day, if I've had a shift at work, a stressful day, and I go to do my hobby, something that I enjoy doing, and the person's getting on my case for how I'm dressed, I'm not here for this, man. I'm paying you as it is, to partake in this. Don't get on my case about what I'm wearing, just because what I'm wearing hasn't made you money. Pricks. Obviously, you can tell something that winds me up. And also, as I started off the podcast saying that we're getting team merch in, 100% not mandatory. I like people getting it because obviously it makes a little bit of cash, but I think it'd just be cool to have everyone like looking dapper in supporting a brand that I support, and flying the flag for the club. But of course it's not mandatory. People can wear whatever they want. I'm never going to tell people you can't train or have a go at them if they're not wearing something that I've had made. Are there any sports that you wish you tried but never did? So for me, right, the only sports I was ever really interested in were combat sports. I mean, like, I watched some of the athletics and the Olympics and things like that, but I was never really big on sports other than combat sports. And I've done most combat sports, right? Or at least the ones that I wanted to. I've fought MMA, I've had a boxing match, done some Thai boxing, although I haven't competed in that. Obviously, I've done grappling. So the answer really would be no. There's not really any other sports that interest me. I mean, I like general athletics and weightlifting, but I do that anyway. So yeah, there's not really anything sports-wise that I wish I'd tried, to be honest. But that's because, I've got the TISM hyper-focus on combat sports, so I did all of those. So I'm in that position where I'm happy that I kind of did what I wanted to do. Well, I'm saying a lot of this in past tense. Still doing it. Obviously, getting a little bit long in the tooth now. Turning 40 in April, but I'm still doing it, and I'm going to do it. Literally, I was talking to someone about this the other day. Just do it until the wheels fall off. I'm just going to keep going until my body can no longer do it. Because at one point in time, you're never, like, you won't be able to go anymore. Like, you'll put down a barbell and that'll be the last time you ever lift one, you know? And it's something that I'll miss when I'm not able to do it. So I definitely want to do it as long as my body will allow me to. Although, obviously, 40, getting on up there. Let's have a look. Oh yeah, there was another question about that video from Chris. So just to re-emphasize, mandatory gis and things like that. And then think about the markup on mandatory gis, right? So they're selling them in a lot of places for like £200, like, which is fucking ridiculous for a gi anyway, you know. But they're getting it made in a little sweatshop in Pakistan for, I don't know, 40 quid maybe, like, less probably even. Are you gonna mark it up that much and force everyone to do it? Like, nah, not for me. So yeah, re-emphasize that. I think he missed the mark on that one. So in terms of other mini exciting things that have been going on, right? Obviously started this by going on about my wrestling boots. Also got custom belt made from Enlightened Jiu-Jitsu, right? Now, did I have to essentially sell a kidney to afford it? Yes, very expensive. But as you can see, very dapper club logo embroidered in, so that's not going to come off. And of course, mirror image on the thing, but it does say hippo. I have no idea how. I suppose the reverse of that would be a little bit better. The belt itself, pretty thin. Like, I was a bit disappointed because I have a giant thick belt from Tatami that feels very premium. This belt feels a bit thinner. Like if they were selling this belt by itself, it wouldn't warrant a premium price, I would say. But the embroidery is fucking quality. Very happy with that. And so for Christmas, I got given some chili chocolates, right? And I've slowly worked my way through the heats of them, but I've saved the last one to try today. So we have mild, which wasn't that mild, I can't lie. Spicy, fiery, and today is extreme. I have no idea what we're going to get with this, but I think we'll give it a crack, right? So for those of you that are watching this, you may be about to see a man die live on Instagram. Ooh, it looks a bit naughty, this. So I'll just hold this up so you can have a look, right? It has got a lot of chilies dotted on the top. So I suspect this is going to hurt a little bit. And it smells fucking... ooh. It does smell hot. Because as soon as I took it out, my nose started running a little bit. So yeah, I think this will be interesting. So we'll give it a crack. It's got a bit of a, ooh, yeah. Bit of a delay. I suppose like when you pull the pin on a grenade and you wait for a bit before you get the boom. Yeah, the boom kind of come a little bit after I swallowed it. At first I was a bit disappointed, I'm not going to lie, but it is getting quite spicy. So I was hoping, right, that because it's chocolate, the dairy in this would mute the spice. It hasn't. This is it's got some kick to it. I wouldn't say it's extreme. In one, Lena, I have a dainty man-sized mouth. Probably fair, I can probably knack this one in one. For anyone that doesn't know, Dana's a bully. Just enjoy seeing me suffer. Okay, so the good news is it doesn't get. Ooh, so it's pretty hot. It doesn't really get hotter than the first mouthful. It should be working, but instead I'm eating you what chocolate like a fucking champ. I am happy to distract your working day. Stop being gay. I suppose you get a pass to say, ooh. I think one of the little chilies just like caught in the back of my neck. So I think, right, that it's actually giving me that head sweats. Whew. So yeah, pretty hot. Yeah, the sad thing is, right, I don't really have anything to wash it down with other than a disappointing Starbucks. So I've got to weigh up, like, do I want to drink this coffee and potentially mute the chilliness, but then have it replaced with disappointment? Or do I want to just sit here with a little bit of burn time? Thinking the burn time might be the lesser of two evils because, you know, Starbucks. I really hope that this road gets a Costa coffee. Annoyingly, the person I normally trolled about all this isn't on the live, so I'll have to clip this part and send it to her directly because she works at Starbucks. Yeah, I know. Bad times, right? No bueno. But, okay, it's gone now. I wouldn't call that extreme. It's pretty spicy. But it's a bit bitty, stuck in my teeth as well. But it's not it's not something that will knock your socks off. Like, you know that you get that mad chili chip that you see everyone eating and it looks like they're dying. It wasn't that hot. It was a bit lively, but extreme might be pushing it. What else has been going on in the world? So we watched Jake Paul basically have a sparring match with Tyson. Kind of what you expected to happen, right? Everyone wants to see Tyson turn back the clock, including myself, and just knock out Jake Paul. Was glad that Jake Paul didn't try to knock him out, really. Hopefully they made a lot of money. But yeah, you know, what do you expect was going to happen? Poor Izzy Adesanya getting knocked out. That one's a bit disappointing. I think Mighty Mouse's reaction to it is fucking amazing. But obviously you could tell he's absolutely gutted about it as well. But sometimes, you know, I mean, Izzy looked good as the fight was going. He was moving well, very quick. You know, he looked on point. You know, sometimes you get caught. This is just the nature of the game. And one of the first things to go is your punch resistance, unfortunately. You know, it just is what it is. Is it time for him to hang him up? No, I wouldn't say so. You know, because he did look good. It's just one of those things. He got caught. You know, I think we got a bit more to come from him. Will he get back to the top of the heap? That I don't know. I don't think so, given the run that he's on at the minute. But it's stranger things have happened. If I was a betting man, I wouldn't bet on that. In terms of my own competing, so first thing that I've actually fully committed to is Spartan races. So I'm going to be doing more of those in terms of just the whole year. I'm just going to be hitting it pretty hard, bringing people with me. But I am looking at a bunch of grappling competitions as well. Something that Barber said to me. So we were rolling together last week, and we always have really hard rounds. So me, Barber, Chris Bev, like those are some of the hardest rounds that I have. Always look forward to them. Very valuable for my own development. And those rounds are always very hard and very close fought. Like we can all kind of shut each other down to a degree where it's very, very hard to catch each other. And it made me realise that rolling with those guys, so those guys both have like multiple gold medals in tournaments and things like that, and I don't, annoyingly. I've done well in super fights, so I haven't lost a super fight or a solo match. but I've never made it to gold in a tournament. And I had one of those epiphanies. It's like, look, these guys win gold all the time, and I'm hanging with them. We're having these really good rolls. So like, I'm on the level. I just need to bring it out there. Where like I haven't managed to do it in competition so far in a tournament, and I don't know what it is about tournament format. I enjoy doing them. I just haven't had the the luck in them. But a lot of the time it's because in the tournaments I've entered, there's been some very, very good guys in there as well. It's just nature of the beast. But that said, this year there will be gold medals. That's what I'm coming for this year. First one I'm looking at probably March time. I don't like competing in January for the obvious reason that January is 800 days long. I'm usually a bit out of shape. This one I was more out of shape because I hadn't trained for 2 weeks prior. And it's just a bit of a shitty, depressing month, isn't it? Like after all the festivities and that kind of dies down, like it just doesn't. It's not a great month. It's fucking cold, and regular gyms get very busy. Now I'm not one to rail against the New Year, New Me crew, right? Because at the end of the day, it's a good metric to start by, having like a random date that you can pinpoint as, okay, I'm going to start here. And if it gets people up into the gym, awesome. But it is a bit of a pain in the ass when all the equipment's taken, That's why training at Sweatbox is handy, because you don't have to fight anyone for the equipment. It's a private studio. You kind of get free reign. I do like a sauna though, so I'll drag myself over to JD to do a workout. And in January, haven't really been able to get on the equipment, which has been a bit of a pain. So hopefully now that will die down and I can get back to lift and sauna. Because I need the sauna to warm my old bones, Right, going for it now. Ooh, mediocre. Fucking hell, I've lost my rambly train of thought. So we're doing our own tournament again. March the 2nd, I'm going to say. I'm pretty sure it's March 2nd. It's that weekend anyway. And we've got some fucking dapper medals for this one. The original combat-based skull. I'll bring one of those on next time to show you. I am so hyped for this, which means I'll probably be entering that tournament myself because I want one of those medals. So if there's anyone around 85 kilos that wants to fight me, come fight me please, so I can get a medal. Fingers crossed, eh? First Spartan race is in May. I'll be doing a 10k and a 5k on the same day. So I've made a little team. Jump in and run it with me. If you check my grappling page, I've got a discount code on there that will get you 20% off. You want to join up sooner rather than later, because Spartan, they increase the prices the closer it gets, as do grappling events and things like that. So if you book it early, then you're fine. First one is down outer London. Let's go on a road trip. How important is competing for BJJ development? This is actually a good question, right? So for me, I think it's very good for pressure testing. So it's not necessarily, it does give you very real feedback on your game. So you go in there against someone that is ultimately focused on beating you. That's all they're aiming for. And it shows you, like, has what you've been working on, does it work at that level of intensity? Can you execute it at that level of intensity? Are there any refinements that you need to make? So if it's working, cool, it gives you feedback that what you're doing is working and it will work at maximum intensity. If it doesn't, okay, is it the intensity that I need to adjust so that I can bring this to a higher level? Or is the person doing something that I hadn't seen in the gym and they're shutting down my technique, in which case you now have real feedback that you can go and you can go and incorporate straight away, right, into your game and start to develop it further. So I do think it is important in that aspect. That said, I don't think it is necessary, and a lot of people will never compete, which is why I always make a big deal of my competitors, because if you step out there and compete, you're setting yourself aside from a lot of hobbyists, right? Even if you only compete at what most people would view as a hobbyist level. So if you're not competing in the European Championships or the World Championships, a lot of the uppers will say, oh, you're just a hobbyist competitor. You're still a competitor. And it's something that I think should be celebrated. And personally, I think everyone should try it at least once, just to be able to look back and say you did it. You put yourself out there, right? Because the worst thing that can happen is you lose, and then so what? Like, people have forgotten about it by the time the next match starts, and then you've got some pretty valuable feedback that you can use to develop your game. So, like, I do recommend it. And there's a couple of people in the gym that I'm a bit more vocal with trying to direct them to competing, because I think it will help develop their game. So, like, we've got some bigger lads that don't have as many people to roll with in the gym, but in competition they'll get people their size, and they get to test now is what they're doing working against people that are their size, you know, or do they need to adjust it? Because if they're able to, like, just be big and overpower everyone in the gym, cool. But can you do that to someone your size, your strength? You know, and if you can't, then you need to add some more strings to your bow. And if you can, perfect. You know, if what you're doing is working against someone your size, absolutely perfect. Rock on and keep doing it. But you won't know until you get out there and try it. So there are a couple of people that I'm getting on their case, trying to motivate them to go compete. Ultimately, I won't mind if they don't compete. It's something I would like to see, and hopefully for them they do, because at the end of the day, the worst thing is looking back. Like I said at the beginning, right? One day you're not going to be able to do this anymore. The window to do this it's open for a brief time in your life, and it will shut. And when it shuts, it doesn't open again. You know, we all get older. Our body won't be able to do it anymore. We all retire from competing. One day will be the last. And you don't want to get to that stage and look back having never done it and regret it, because you don't get to open that window and try again, you know. So that's just my take on it. I think it is pretty important. I don't think it's mandatory, but I do recommend that everyone tries it at least once, just for the experience, you know. There was something else. And now I can't remember. Oh yeah, so Polaris coming up on the weekend. Very hyped for this card, and we are doing a watch party at the gym, which I am equally hyped about, right? Because I love having everyone in the gym all together. You know, it's just a really good atmosphere. Everyone's really nice. I think we've done well to kind of create that environment where we don't have any assholes in the team, thankfully. Everyone gets along, you know, so having everyone there, like, laughs, some drinks, some food, some good grappling with some people that we know competing. I am very hyped for it. We've already planned, like, I think some people are getting pizza, some people are getting kebabs ordered in, couches at the ready, big projector to watch it, some blankets because it's cold in the gym. It's just going to be really good. Like, I'm proper looking forward to it. And obviously, seeing as I've moved up from south and forsaken all of the souls I knew down south that I don't see anymore, the gym folk are my homies. You know, they're the friends that I've got up here. So yeah, Billy No Mates has some mates for a watch party, which I'm looking forward to. And in my plan, right? So 2 p.m. kickoff for Polaris allows me to teach my wrestling class in the morning, which is more of like a live thing. So we do a lot of wrestling rounds, very good fun, hard sesh. And thankfully, I don't have to do the kids class anymore. Don't know if I told you, but I've managed to hand off the kids class to Sam, which I am fucking happy about. But yeah, so after that class and after the jiu-jitsu class, I've got a bit of downtime to... So the plan is, I need to squeeze all this in, right? I need to lift some weights. I need to get cleaned up. I need to go over to Fat Hippo and get their special Valentine's burger because it looks fucking sensational. I then need to go around the corner to get baked and get cakes, and then back to the gym. The cake, so basically the way I've rationed out my day's calories, except in the fact that I'm going to go miles over, is Fat Hippo for breakfast, get baked for lunch, and then kebab for dinner. It is an ultimate high calorie day. I might as well try and shoehorn in like a PB lift or some kind, because I'll be very massy, girthy by the time I get through all that. And mass moves mass, right? So it'd be worth trying to hit a PB of some kind, probably before I start drinking, I would imagine. Although I'm probably not going to be drinking that much, I'm not going to lie. I reckon to be fair, I might even drive down, in which case more calories for food rather than booze, so I'll take that as a win. Outside of that, so I think you're mostly caught up with what's been going on. So recap: Spartan races get yourself signed up. I'm going to be sharing the ones I've signed up for as I sign up for them, and I could do with the company, because the 3 that I did last year, on the same day, I did by myself. When you're running 20k by yourself, it's a bit of a slog, I can't lie. So I did that on my lonesome. The 10k, I actually fell in with a group of people from, I can't fucking remember what gym it was now. It wasn't Snap. Some conglomerate gym down south, and I can't remember the name of it now. But they were all really nice. Ran it with me, made some friends for the race, and then the 5k after that, 5k by myself, but 5k after you've done a 20 and a 10, you just fly for it. You know, it wasn't that seemed like it just came and went like that. Although if you're running your first Spartan race, I have to tell you, start on the 5k, because if you haven't done a race before, the 5k will not go like that. It's going to feel like a bit of a slog, right? It's just comparative to doing the 20, it feels pretty good. So as these come up, use my discount code, please. You get 20% off, and basically when I get a certain amount in there, they give me like free merch and shit like that, which obviously works for me because I'm a merch hound. So, and Spartan have some sick merch. So yeah, I want it, and to earn it, I need to get some of you racing with me. So challenge yourselves, save some money, and earn me some merch. I mean, it's like a win-win for everyone, right?